Good afternoon and welcome to GrainTV. It's March 25th, 2013. To my left is Logan Burgess and I'm Brock Shimbino. We had a mixed day for the grains here in Chicago. Let's turn over to Fire Tip to see where we ended. Corn was up 6 1/4, soybeans off 2 1/2, wheat in Chicago off 3, and Kansas City was off 3 as well. You guys out there want live quotes in your home or office, make sure you head over to grainhedge.com, take a free demo right now. Also, we have 4 free trades for anyone that opens up an account by the end of the month, and we'll also reimburse your wire fee. You know, Logan, we did see some choppy, pretty low volume trade here today. Corn was really the only bright spot, and we really actually rallied pretty hard into the close today.
Yeah, you know, to start the day off, it was really an exceptionally quiet trade, barely changed from the overnight session. And as you said, it was a really light day in terms of volume. Certainly early in the session, we did see new crop contracts gaining a little bit against the old crop contracts. There was some bull spreading unwinding here today, and I certainly think that's going to be a theme here as we move through this week. You know, position evening coming into Thursday's big report. Really today we didn't have a lot of fundamental news come out. We did get the export inspections report, so we're going to talk about expectations for Thursday's big report here a little bit later in the show. But right now, Brock, could you kind of break down on the export side of things what we saw this morning?
We did get the export inspections report. It was pretty solid across the board. We had corn coming in at about 17 million bushels exported last week. That was right in line with analyst expectations. Soybeans beat analyst expectations to the high side, 18 million bushels exported this week, and wheat came in at 20 million bushels exported, right in the middle of analyst expectations. But if we take a look at the chart, we've been following all marketing year long here. This is for the soybeans exporting, leaving the country here. The green line is actually the seasonal pace to meet the current USDA projections. The red bars are what we actually are seeing for weekly exports. You can see we did fall a little bit short of that seasonal pace, but for the marketing year, we're still 165 million bushels ahead of pace on soybeans leaving the country. But we did fall, like I said, just a little bit this week, down 9 million bushels on that pace this week.
Yeah, you know, a very different story here in recent weeks if we take a look at wheat. You know, wheat had kind of struggled early in the marketing year. We had this large sell-off in old crop wheat futures here in the U.S., and we certainly see that now reflected in the pace of export inspections here on a weekly basis. Certainly taking $2 a bushel off the price of wheat really has helped export sales in the last couple weeks here. And as you can see, today's number did come in slightly above that pace, kind of that benchmark that we're looking for to meet USDA expectations. This week we gained 4 million bushels on the pace needed to meet those expectations. Now we're 10 million bushels behind pace, certainly coming here into the end of the marketing year. It's going to be close to see if we can meet those expectations. Certainly if we see the pace keep up as it has here recently, that's certainly doable.
There was some tender activity over the weekend in last night's overnight session.
Right.
We kind of missed out on a couple of tenders, one going to Iraq, one going to Bangladesh. You know, it's not real concerning at this point, but it is showing that there is a little bit more competition now on the wheat export market.
Yeah, certainly here in recent weeks, too, a strengthening dollar hasn't helped that out at all, and we'll keep you posted on that here on GrainTV. But as I said, you know, in general, Brock, it seems like today, tomorrow, and Wednesday, people are really going to be focused on the big planting intentions and quarterly grain stocks report. Later this week, we're going to be breaking down the quarterly grain stocks in more detail, but today we kind of want to focus on planting intentions. We did get out some numbers from Reuters here as far as analyst expectations there. Brock, can you kind of walk us through this?
Yeah, let's take a look at this table here. You can see what we have is the Reuters poll and the analysts, their estimates for the planting intentions. The first column we want to look at is the average guess. Looks like for corn, we're looking at about 97.3 million acres going to corn. Soybeans about 78.4, and all wheat about 56.4. But I think we really need to compare this to what we planted last year. You know, for corn, we're only looking for about an 800,000 acre increase in the corn acreage. Soybeans is really the crop that's looking to pick up a lot of acres, looking for about 2.4 million acres to be added there, and wheat to be virtually unchanged from what we planted last year.
Yeah, Brock, you know, if we look at it, I think beans in particular is the one that people are really looking to pick up some substantial acres here. It's going to be interesting to see where those acres are gained. There's been a lot of talk east of the Mississippi. There's going to be a lot of double crop acres for soybeans going in after winter wheat. So that's one thing that people have been looking at. But we'll get some details about where these acres are actually going to be. And I think on last week's show, you know, you raised a great point. Are these acres going to become be coming online in subprime areas? That's really going to put some drag on yield for the national average. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. But in general, you know, once again here, it looks like this grain market's gearing up to have expectations for a very large planted acreage this spring. And last year, if we look at the new crop contracts, after the planting intentions report, we really kind of traded sideways to lower until we found obviously the drought of 2012 to push this market higher. So I think at this point, there certainly is downside risk. This report, I think, is going to weigh on those contracts, especially if we come out with a planted acreage number north of 97 million acres for corn.
There's going to be a lot of fundamental news this week. Make sure you follow us on GrainTV follow us on Twitter at GrainTV is where you can find us. We have the EIA ethanol numbers on Wednesday. Right. We have export sales on Thursday, as well as those two big reports, the planting intentions and the quarterly grain stocks on Thursday as well. Check us out on Facebook, or as always, if we have any questions about what we talked about here today, give us a call, 877-472-4607.
Have a good one.